So you've just got to love Matthew's epic timing, haven't you?
I was
Spot on.
maybe someone I said, but I didn't really speak to him.
It was perfect, it was perfect. And now he'll heckle me all the way through the sermon, which is fine. So the reading today from Luke is short and quite to the point. Blessed are this group, woe to this group. And he finishes with a good old do unto others. Job done, message sent and received. Now I've read this several times, wrote some stuff about it, with some fairly interesting, I thought, comparisons to the Beatitudes. But overall, as a sermon, it really sucked. So, SJ suggested that I write about something else. Ignore the reading, and I thought, it's a radical thought, but interesting. And since the sermon I wrote originally really did suck, it was a very attractive thought. Just throw it away and start again. So it was back to the laptop for Sermon 2.0, and this time it was personal. 1st of November, or Friday as we might call it, was All Saints' Day. And yesterday, the 2nd of November, was All Souls' Day. Not as popular or as well known as Halloween, obviously. But then, of course, those 2 days don't tend to come with lots of sweets, dressing up, or scaring the crap out of people. So, no fun, really. Nevertheless, there are many people around the world who observe those days. All Saints' Day is the day some commemorate all those souls that have passed and made it into heaven. Job done, well done, basking in the sunshine of glory. All Souls' Day, on the other hand, is slightly less fun. This is a day that some people commemorate the souls of the departed only getting as far as purgatory. Since they may have died with some lesser sins on their souls, apparently. So they get to wait there until they have worked them off. I don't know, I guess it kind of matches the reading from Luke in a way. You know, this group are blessed, straight to heaven. This group are facing woes in purgatory until they've worked it all off. But to be honest, I just don't get it. I really don't. I was under the impression that Jesus talked often about God's love for all of us. God's grace, God's forgiveness, all that good, uplifting, positive stuff. It just seems to me that this idea of you've been a very naughty boy, go for a time out in purgatory, doesn't match what I've come to understand about God. And on reflection, it seems maybe a little petty. But there are huge numbers of people who believe it, who believe that if they don't get absolution at the point of death, they could end up there in some sort of spiritual naughty corner, waiting to be told they've served their time. I, for one, don't believe it. I just don't see how it could be true. After all, if you truly believe God is everywhere, that God is always with us, then why would you need someone to pop along right at the end and bless you just before you die, to be made right with God? Surely, even if you believed in that sort of petty God, all you must do is be truly sorry for whatever it is you're supposed to have done and ask that you be forgiven. I mean, that always worked at the primary school I went to. You know, if you misbehaved, you got sent out of the class to what they called the naughty wall, a nice red wall at the end of the corridor. You had to stand there facing it until you realised how naughty you'd been. And then you could go to the teacher and say, "Oh, I'm very sorry, I'll never do it again." And they let you back in the class. You were released. I have to say that I never quite got as far as the "I'm very sorry" bit, "I'll never do it again." So I spent a lot of time staring at a red wall. And I know some of you will be saying, "Oh, that explains a lot." But, you know, it was a long time ago. So I think I've got over it. But it occurs to me that throughout history, there have been many such devices used to control people's behaviour. Ideas posed by some to create fear or dependency, even to the point of creating a common enemy to forge a nation. So why should religion be any different? create a few nasty things to convince people to follow the course you have chosen. You will go to hell if you don't. Well, you know, you can fill in the blanks. I'm sure we've all heard phrases along those lines over the years. I mean, I personally have heard all sorts of things put in there over the years. Or even the more cringe-making for me, if you are one of us, you will be saved. Hallelujah. The doorman to the prestigious club of heaven. Come with us, you're in. What a load of old cobblers. I'll choose my words carefully. No matter what our thoughts on heaven and hell are, I don't believe there's anyone on earth that can guarantee you will go to one or the other. Anyone that says they can, to me, is either very delusional or just a liar trying to get something from you, whether it's money in the collection, a bum on the seats, or some sort of control over you. If you truly believe in God, then you should realise that only God can make those sort of choices. And if, like me, you believe God to be the forgiving, loving parent that Jesus described, what do you think the chances are that they would ever send you somewhere like hell? I mean, no matter what my children did, I certainly would never send them anywhere like that. You've left your bedroom in a mess, you're going to burn in hell. No. So, what makes people think that God would be like that? It seems clear to me that over the years, since Jesus, people have come up with things to scare others into joining them, to scare them into being good, being pious, being good religious people. Then when that seems to have issues, they give them a little out, a little escape clause, whether through confession or last rites or other ceremonies and rituals of cleansing, which strangely enough can only be performed by the priest or vicar or other leader in that particular religious group. Then, of course, there is the biggest stick. And I guess you're thinking, what, bigger than heaven, bigger than hell? Oh, what could be bigger than that? Well, to me, the stick of now. If you do not conform, if you do not believe as we do, if you do not toe the line, you're cast out. You're disfellowshipped, you're shunned. That is a huge threat, especially for those who have grown up in a particular faith group. The threat of having everything you know, everyone you know, taken away from you. Of being cut off from friends, isolated from everything you've known. Even, on occasions, family. Just because you questioned something, or felt something wasn't quite true, or didn't believe the same things that everyone else around you believed. To me, it's completely unfathomable that anyone would do that. But sadly, even supposedly Christian organisations have thrown people out, told their families not to talk to them, told people to steer clear of them, called them evil. Isolated, humiliated, and pretty much destroyed them. Now to me, that speaks more to being a cult. And it's certainly against what Christ stood for. After all, Jesus didn't even cast out someone who was going to betray him and put him over to death. Hand him over to his enemies. He still shared a meal with Judas Iscariot, didn't denounce him, throw him out of the group, shun him, tell everyone else not to talk to him. Don't talk to Judas, he's a baddie. No, he just said, go and do what you have to do. It never ceases to amaze me how far the Christian faith has moved away from what Jesus taught and how Jesus lived. How Christianity has turned a simple message of love, faith and inclusion into some sort of complex mixture of division, distrust, and created the other, or anyone that's not quite like us. Being Christian is all about Christ, surely. So shouldn't Christianity be the process of learning to be like Christ? Shouldn't Christianity be sharing the original message of Christ? The one in which he reaches out to everyone, leaves no one out. The one in which he goes out into the world to make it a better place, to have a positive, real impact on it. Not just sit behind walls, bemoaning its problems. I truly think Christianity lost its way. And like when we pass on information from one to another, we colour it slightly with our own experience, use our own words. Sometimes, like in the game Chinese Whispers, if you've ever played it, we change its true meaning. I think Christianity has diverted from what Jesus brought to us. Over the years, people have used it to control, to attack, even to kill others. Abuse like that causes changes. It leaves a mark. And many such misuses over time change the whole meaning and appearance of Christianity. So that if put side by side with Jesus' teachings, I find it hard to see any real similarities. I guess at this point now it's going to go, oh my God, it's all doom and gloom. Oh, we're all doomed. Relax, relax, relax. Although I truly believe that major religions have strayed and taken a bit of a nasty turn somewhere, the spirit is still alive and active. When I talk to people about faith and belief, many say they are spiritual, not religious. Then when I talk to them about what they do on a daily basis, it's incredible how Christ-like their actions and activities are. So to me, Christianity may be fading, but the light of Jesus Christ is burning stronger than ever. The spirit of his teachings is alive and very active all around us, reaching into even the darkest of places and times, changing even the hardest of hearts. I truly think that Jesus weeps at the religion bearing his name, but rejoices at the hearts that are, to this day, holding on to and living into his truth. Thank you.